Episode number 8. Guys, keep me honest, number 8.
Yeah.
Box to box. Super excited to be here. I'm joined by Andre, Alina, our box to box mainstays. My name is Jose. And Box to Box is brought to you by GOLZtv. Guys, we're insanely close. GOLZtv is going live this coming week. I'm so pumped for it. Guys, if you want to find anything on the football spectrum of content for free in an unlimited way, head to GOLZ.tv today, and you'll be able to start consuming content immediately. Super excited for it. Now, getting past that, guys, we're in the international break. We're recording this episode on the 25th. Not a ton to talk about, obviously, in the realm of club football, right? That kind of stops for the international break. But there's a lot of crazy shit going on outside the pitch. And for this episode, because we have the ability, right, to pick and choose what we talk about today, let's start with something that I think is a little more juicy in terms of content, drama, family storylines, and someone who can't really seem to just escape any of the headlines, right? Whether we're talking about Juve or we're talking about just his personal life. Paul Pogba, the curious case of Paul Pogba, as I'm calling it. First off, before I jump right in here, because I've been following this story, but I think it's kind of crazy for those who have not, and I haven't seen a ton of it, to be fair. Have you guys been following this shit with, like, first off, the fact that he employs a witch doctor, which, you know, I don't want to make light of that. I think anybody, you know, bro, you believe in what you believe in. I'm not going to judge anybody for you know what they do. It's just kind of crazy. You don't hear about it too often.
Yep.
You know, someone who has all the money, all the resources in the world, being superstitious enough maybe to have a witch doctor on the salary. But then you got the crazy shit that's happened with this witch doctor being involved has been insane. So guys, let me just set the table and then we'll talk about it. Before we jump in, for those who have not been following, and I would love your comments, anybody that wants to chime in on this piece alone, because I think it's so interesting. This past week, 2 different points to this story. One that happened on Wednesday, one that happened on Friday. On Wednesday, we had the news break that, you know, Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, which I don't know, Alina, Andre, have you followed his career at all? He's had brief stints with teams in England, teams in France.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, people have heard of him. They know him as a player. But he got brought in by police in France after there were, you know, strong rumors that Paul was going through extortionism, and it was being led by his brother and like other members of his friends circle group and his family group. Mm-hmm. A lot of crazy shit to kind of unpack there. But I think let's start with that piece before I jump into the second piece of it all. Extortion for, I don't know, apparently they feel like Paul owes them money for leaving them behind as his career's only grown and gotten bigger and bigger. That's such a weird topic, I think, to talk about too, just by itself. But Andre, let's start with you, bro. I mean, you think about some of these players and how their success is maybe just even consumed by their own families, their own friend circles. Do we feel like Pogba is that type of dude, man? Like, I don't know. Does his brother have any sort of leg to stand on with the extortion claims that, well, I should say, with the claims that they're being left behind, that Paul's not bringing his family with him as he continues to see success in his own, you know, footballing career?
I think it's bogus, bro. Like, he's one of 3, right?
Yes.
Paul?
Yeah, I think so.
And all 3 of them had somewhat, like you said, like they were in the scene at some point.
They had some opportunity to do something with their careers.
Yeah. And so to me, it's like, it's not like they literally didn't have a chance to play soccer at all. I mean, I'm sure it helps to have that Pogba last name on the back of your jersey. But I do think that Paul, obviously the most gifted, but also probably the smartest when it came to his career. And, you know, for whether you like him or not, I was talking to somebody who's a United fan and he said, hated, adored, but never ignored. That's Paul Pogba to a T.
Oh.
And it's that's a perfect description, analogy. Dude. It's a perfect description. So shouts to my boy Connor, because dude, it's true. Like, anything that you see about him, I mean, Alina, you know this, like, he, you know, having played for Juventus for so long too, there's always controversy when Pogba's around, right? Yeah, now with this shit coming up, look, I think it's bogus, bro. I think his brother is probably just trying to make light of something that just doesn't exist. And again, I don't know any or many of the facts about the story by itself, but just the fact that you're coming at your own family, bro. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think putting it on Paul as a responsibility for him to kind of carry his family forward as he sees success is kind of
Yeah.
I don't know. People feel the way they feel about it. Me personally, I'm like,
no, I know what you mean. And also, by the way, just a little caveat: like, what's going on with French players and extortion, dude? Like,
I don't know,
Benzema,
bro. France is fucking wild. That's all I'm gonna say. France is like,
it's like
crazy,
there's no rules
bro.
over there. They're like, fuck it, anything goes. Like,
I don't know. And where this story takes a twist, by the way, is that he turns himself in, right? So Matthias turns himself in because there was already kind of a search for him and his friends who are apparently extorting Paul, and he turns himself in. And on Friday, it comes to light that he also makes the police aware of these 30 plus fucking videos that exist as insurance, right? Insurance that reveal everything Paul has either done, told his family, ignored even along the way, but most importantly, where this witch doctor comes back into play, are instances where Paul has employed the witch doctor to, and again, this is their language, not mine, but cast spells on other players, other teams, other groups out there to help him succeed in his career. And some of the examples that were referenced without any kind of fucking proof, right? This is literally just Matthias talking to a camera. But the one that was interesting was back in 2019, Pogba's time at United, the Champions League tie where United reversed the first leg deficit against PSG.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there was, as part of this revelation, there was a spell cast on Mbappe by Pogba's witch doctor to not hurt him or anything along those lines, nothing crazy, just tame him, right?
Neutralize was the word, right?
Neutralize him, keep him at bay. And sure enough, right? United turned that around, 1-3-1. Looked like the team we thought they were going to be in that version of the Champions League season. Turns out they weren't. It's
so weird.
It kind of held up after that, but
it just worked one time.
It worked the one time, exactly. which also leads, is there some layer of validity to this? Bro, are witch doctors real? I don't know.
Jose's like Googling witch doctor.
Bro, I don't know. Hey, listen.
Witch doctor near me.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. I mean, most teams can't find a way to tame Mbappe. Yet this witch doctor, who came highly recommended by guys like Serge Aurier, guys like Alou Diarra, who had his playing days. Again, other French footballers. I don't know. I'm calling it the curious case of Paul Pogba. I don't even know if I could be a teammate in that locker room, Alina, at Juve side. Do you worry about stepping on toes? Do you piss off Paul? Like maybe he casts a spell on me? I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like that's where my mind goes with this shit. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you welcome him back? Do you how do you treat that now that you know a little bit more about all the off the pitch shit? Like as a Juve fan, does this worry you? Him coming back into the fold once he's gets over this injury, and I think it's probably post World Cup, right? He's not going to the World Cup.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen.
So with all the drama that your team's going through at the moment, how is this whole saga received?
I feel like this is probably at like the bottom totem pole of important things that Juve have to deal with in the locker room right now. But if you're looking specifically at Pogba's case, and maybe that's just me, I don't think the players would actually feel the same way. But I'd be like, hey, dude, like it's your religious freedom. Like you can do whatever you want. It's similar to when like you say a prayer, like whatever your religion is, you say a prayer for your team to win, right? That happens all the time. So what is the difference between casting a literal like witchcraft spell, technically, right? Like technically speaking, it can be seen as similar. So it's just like his religious
beliefs.
It's his religious rights.
But like that's a good question, right? Like, is it what's the criteria for like a prayer versus a spell?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. Now, whether the other Juve players what they're gonna think, I don't know. I feel like it's very unsportsmanlike to publicly go and ask like, witch doctor or priest or whatever to like sit down and pray with you against the other team. I think that would be a little, it's one thing that if, like you're praying in private or like you're, meditating on it and then you're maybe asking for your team's success as opposed to someone else's failure. I think that's an important point to make because I do think it's unsportsmanlike if I'm like viewing it from the players' perspectives too. But I think it's gonna affect him. It's gonna affect Pogba more actually than it affects his teammates So I'm interested to seeing how he comes back on the field, as opposed to how the locker room's going to treat him.
Well, the other thing too is, you know, the Mbappe thing. Like, dude, he's your teammate on the national team. You guys won a World Cup a year before that. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, you think, number one, you really think nobody's going to bring this up to light, or number two, you think when it does come to light that people are just going to ignore it and say, oh yeah, whatever, it's just Pogba being Pogba.
Oh, I think that's like deny, that's bro. Like Piqué. That's like Piqué / Puyol against like Ramos. Like, they would fight all the time, and you know, the El Clasico, and then they would be buddies in the World Cup.
Although I will say, at the height of that drama and rivalry, like, they almost didn't. Like there was a lot in the Spain locker room where, like, you know, guys like Xavi had to sit people down, or Casillas had to sit people down, and be like, hey, you're not fucking children. Like we were here to win something. So you know, put your differences aside. Let's just do it.
There's a documentary on Prime Video on the Spanish national team, and they go into that. Like that run between the 2008 Euro to the 2014 World Cup. When were they good?
Yeah, it was 2010. I think it was 2008
World Cup.
They won the Euros.
It was those 6 years. It was Euros 08, then it was World Cup, and then Euros again.
Yeah.
So those like 4-6 years is when they go into it. And to your point, Jose, like, captains from both sides, Xavi and Casillas, had to sit everybody down and said, look, like, we get it. You have your rivalry, Madrid, Barcelona, and you can hate them if you want, but like, if we don't play as a team, we're not going to win ever again. And, you know, sure enough, like, they went on to win 3 major tournaments. Only team has ever done that. Yeah. So you gotta put that aside when you're in the locker room. But yeah, like, to my point earlier, is like, does he really think that Mbappe is not going to fucking say anything, even if it's like all hearsay, right? Like, before he got proved to be true. Like, I just don't know. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. And I think that, like, when his name comes up, I think the only thing Pogba can really realistically do is like deny it. I mean, that's what I would be like, bro. It's newspaper, media, all that bullshit. Like, only because you don't want shit to happen. And then the other point you were making on, can, you know, U.S. locker room going to care? I think the difference between them and like the Spanish national team was Spain had real fucking leaders on that team.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Real tried and true leaders of men. Versus, like, I don't know who that leader is on Juve. Well, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I personally like Bonucci, but I don't know. I think he's a good leader, but I don't know if he's ready for this kind of.
Right, he's no Buffon. I feel like Buffon would be ready for that.
Yeah, he's not Buffon. He's not Chiellini. Like, in the Euros, him and Chiellini, they led that team on their back. Like, they were perfect together. And then sometimes you see Bonucci is vocal too on the pitch, but you know, we don't really know what goes
behind
on
the scenes,
and behind the scenes.
Yeah. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, like I said, if it were me, if I put myself in those shoes, one, don't piss off Paul. You just don't know what kind of spell is gonna get cast your way or whatever. And then two is like, Juve just can't get out of like this drama shitstorm that is like Turin, right? Like, it's crazy. We're talking about this before the show, right? But All or Nothing really fucked up by getting there as early as they did. Like, we need an All or Nothing part 2 for everything Juve is. Yeah, Juve is this season, maybe even next season. Like, I don't know. I think that this is the drama that the football world really needs when the matches aren't being played. I love it. And speaking of Juve and the drama, the shitstorm, everything else, Antonio Conte spotted in Turin, and God, I love to see the newspapers and the media make this blow up in the best way possible. In a moment where Allegri out is very much a trending hashtag, you have Conte spotted in Turin, and we all feel pretty confident that he's probably not going to make his return to Juve, at least not this season. Alina, how great would it be to have Conte back, or not great? Maybe you feel different.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure as soon as I woke up and I saw the article, I copy pasted it to you guys. Yeah. And then I used that, what is it? The Office meme. That's like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, coming out. Like, that's how I was feeling. And then I came back to reality and I was like, okay, Conte is not going to leave Spurs in the middle of the season. Like, because number one, if you want Conte now, you're going to have to sack Allegri, and it's going to be like 30 to 40 million to get him, and then you have to pay Spurs to get Conte from them, because it's not just, you know, it's not, there's rules, there's things signed, there's a lot of money on the line, so it's a lot of hurdles to overcome. It's a lot. And honestly, do I think that he's going to come back next season? Yes, I do. I do believe so, and I think that's why he was there, because why the hell would you go to Turin
on the international break, like, and the international break after, when players are gone.
Yeah, before the crucial Juve meeting with the management that happened last Friday.
Yeah.
There's something behind it. But okay, I do think he's gonna. Yeah, Nedved wants him there. Here's the thing about Nedved though, because I was hearing like he wants to resign because he's against Allegri. He wants the Juve to sack Allegri. And some fans are like, well, you just wait 1 year because like there's no way we're gonna stick with Allegri. Like they're gonna probably part ways at the end of the season. But I think he wants him gone now. So I think it's gonna be interesting. Something is gonna happen before the start of the World Cup with the Juve management. Now, whether that's like Nedved resigning, whether that's Allegri getting sacked, whether that's Allegri and Agnelli mutually terminating the contract, right? Because that could happen too.
Yeah.
I personally, like, everyone's saying, oh, like there's no way Allegri is gonna resign, blah 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 blah. He wants his money. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I do think that he's a little more professional, and he would see how tough and difficult Juve are at this moment with their current situation. And if he really doesn't think that it's working out, I think he will sit down with the management and the Juve owners, and he's going to be like, okay, let's terminate the contract. Not sack me, you have to pay me for the next 3 years. I don't think he's that kind of coach. We did that with Pirlo. We did that with Sarri. I don't think Allegri's that kind of guy. He's not going to want the money back if he's out of a job.
And he fits I think more importantly too, right? Like he, for reasons that, Sarri was sacked for reasons that, and this is not for Pirlo. Pirlo I think they rushed it. But, I think Allegri meets more of the mold that Juve likes to have at the helm as a manager, right? Like the fit, right? It's there. It's just that the football isn't matching the expectation, and they got to figure out what to do with him. I think I agree with you. No one's making a move this season. Let's be honest. It's just not happening. I think in the front office, though, you mentioned that the rumors of Nedved, potentially, he's starting to resign. I'm going to leave if you guys don't side with me over Allegri. I think that could happen realistically as like a ploy, right? They'll find a way to bring him back in, maybe. But I think Nedved is someone who appreciates the type of football that is being played, and it's not even just results. I think Nedved, wants to see that progressively the football is matching where they want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, not just the results. Yeah. And that's not even there, right? Allegri's very direct. A lot of midfielders get skipped over in the build-up play. Like, it's just not the most eye-pleasing thing to see on the pitch.
It doesn't even work.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. That's another thing too, right? Is that it does with the players that you have. With the players you have, it's just you're too direct for the players that you have. You need some progressive build-up play. You need to almost be more patient with the possession, and it's just not there. Like it's the identity is very, very hard to figure out what you guys are trying to do. So with that said, though, let's just entertain the idea that Allegri's out when this season's over, that Conte's in. And I'll stick with you, Alina, for this one. Does Conte change this team? Conte had a very different version of Juve to work with previously. Can he, let's say they give him 2-3 years, let's say Nedved comes back into the fold and he wants to give Conte every resource he can to make Juve as dominant as they were when that run of 9 titles came through. How do you fix the broken team that is Juve today?
Well, I like, for example, the excuse Allegri is using is I don't have any players, blah 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 blah. The fitness is down. What Conte is going to do is he's going to run you to the absolute ground and make sure that you're fit enough. That's number one. The first training session, he's going to get those guys to shape up and do the same thing. So that's fixed right there. Allegri is not going to do that. Yeah. Number two, he's going to bring all the magazines, he's going to make them watch all the games. He's going to make them watch all the mistakes, and he's going to make them read what other people and other like journalists and teams are doing and what they're saying about Juve. And he's going to make them feel ashamed about it. And that's how Conte works.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe it doesn't work the next season, because he's going to do the same thing again. If you're winning, there's nothing to be ashamed about. So these players start losing more and more and more motivation. Yeah. And I think that kind of happens with Conte. You get that with Conte, and that's that immediate effect that might fade away after a season or two.
Yeah, it's so tough.
He will change it. If
he will.
If he gets there, he will change it, and we can get at least top 4. But
Andre, does this feel a little bit like when Koeman was under the gun at Barca, and you heard a lot of these rumors of Barca players were leaving and they were going to other teams, and they were like, man, this training feels so much more tough than what I was doing at Barcelona. It feels like we're legitimately being way more physical. We're running way more. Like at Barca, things were just almost too easy. You had Xavi come in and just change that perception immediately. Like just the first training session, we're going as hard as we possibly can. We're not, we're changing this mentality that, that you could just kind of come by, lean on your technical skill and move forward. It feels kind of like that, right? I mean, do you think Conte will just changing that alone, the day-to-day, the intensity of what they go through, is that enough? Do they have enough talent outside of that to make it work and make a run at the Serie A title?
I think so. I mean, when you look at the squad on paper, right? Like we've talked about this multiple times, especially Alina, being the Juventus expert here. But dude, I mean, on paper, it looks like they do have talent, right? It's not like they're lacking in some areas. I mean, obviously you don't have the Ronaldos of the world to make those big name, headlines in the newspapers, but at the end of the day, like with Dybala leaving, that opens up possibilities for other players to step in. And I think to your point earlier, I think that's the biggest thing. It's the psychological aspect of bringing in somebody like Conte, what it does to like galvanize and revolutionize the locker room. I think that is number one. You don't even have to go as far as like the tactics and how hard his, training sessions are and how hard he pushes players, because we know that he does. I think it's more about the mental aspect of it. The players are probably feeling a little bit stalled right now, right? Like it's almost the same thing that happened in Barcelona when Koeman was there. Players feeling like they just, they can't get the best out of everybody. It's just not enough. Like, you have the talent, but nothing seems to be working. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's like mentally players are going to be probably more bought into the Conte way than they are right now to Allegri.
Yeah, I think so too. I can see a mentality shift being exactly what this group of players needs, because like we talked about before, right? When the season started, there was potential around this group of players. They brought in enough talent that we thought that they could be a cohesive unit. It's just making it fucking work and click. Yep. And Juve does need to be back at the top of the Serie A where we all feel they deserve. I feel like we're having a Manchester United conversation kind of week in and week out about Juve, right? So, and look, and this is not to add insult to injury. This is just something that came out, and I'm me being a business mind, I feel like we have to kind of talk about it at least a little bit, but just to close things out financially, they need help too. And we need to kind of turn things around. I mean, the earnings report came out, the reported loss of nearly 250 million euros. And it will, as Alina and I talked about before the show, it will get a little bit worse, right? The loss of Champions League qualification for the knockouts. If it happens, let's not just say it's going to. The Benfica game was a dagger, but like, there's still the return leg for that one and for the PSG match.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And for the Benfica game, the talks right now in the paper are both Chiesa and POGBA are going to be back for that game.
See,
so that's going to be exciting.
There you go. Well, Chiesa will be a lightning
100%, it's not going to. They're not going to be at 100%, but they can give you maybe 15, 20 minutes.
They'll give you sometimes a spark like that hey, we're going to have some kind of reinforcements. It's not just going to be the 11 that's on the pitch to start to really be tasked with getting us over the line. Exactly. I don't know. I think there's some kind of silver lining there. We'll see. I'm really hoping that we continue to see Juve progress and work their way back to where we know they can be. Now, speaking of better days, fucking hate talking about this shit, bro. It's like same shit, different day. I'm so done with like talking about it sometimes. But I've had this talk with a million people off of this show because everyone wants my opinion. Fine, here's my fucking opinion. U.S. men's national team gets dominated by Japan 2-0, and dominated is not even a strong enough word, guys. It's just not. As someone who's going to be cheering heavily for both the U.S. men's national team and the Mexican national team at the World Cup, I don't know where to go. If you guys didn't catch the match, we lost 2-0. Weren't even fucking close. Like, weren't even close. 16 shots to 4.
0 shots on
possession, target. 0 shots on target. And the fucking meme of like, US being better at shooting and like all that shit, like all the Reddit football stuff. Like, yeah, dude, there's so many jokes about the team on the internet at the moment. But what I want to focus on is like where my data mind goes is how does this translate to what we're going to see in the World Cup? And it's bad. It's really bad. Let me throw some stats at you really quick. They are 1-3-2 USA against teams who have qualified for the World Cup. Fucking garbage. Japan are ranked 24th by FIFA. Here's who we're playing against in our group. England ranked 5th, Wales ranked 19th, Iran ranked 22nd. Andre, what are USA fans going to expect against teams who are better than Japan, statistically speaking, in the World Cup? Why are the U.S. men's national team fans excited about this version of the team less than 2 months away from the competition? Is there anything to get excited about? Why are these European talents, because really what they are, more than 70% of this team is playing in Europe or in leagues outside of the MLS where there's more competition. Yet Berhalter isn't finding a method or a formula to bring them all together and translate that to wins.
Yeah,
what's your take, bro?
It's interesting, dude. I can go many different ways here. I mean, right off the bat, number one, you and I are a little different, right? Because you cheer for both the U.S. men's national team and Mexico. Me, obviously, having been born in Mexico, growing up there until I was 13, 14, and I moved to the U.S., you're taught to hate your rival, right? So I'm pretty happy and content with what's happening to the U.S. national team. I'm not gonna lie. Here's the thing. There's two things that I think are happening that the media are starting to kind of blow up. Number one is what you mentioned in terms of the amount of players playing in, top European leagues. That obviously helps. The squad looks good. There's young talent everywhere. Great. Number two is the 3 games that you guys beat Mexico over the summer in a row. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
when they beat Mexico,
the Mexico Trophy,
Nations League, the was it Gold Cup, and then also the qualifier. So
I'm so
the
done
3
with
in a
those
row.
Results, though. But
here's the thing, though. That's where it gets really skewed because people start measuring Mexico as kind of that. Oh my God, we're better than Mexico. We're the kings of CONCACAF now, and then it becomes this sensationalist headline, right? Of the U.S. is there, the U.S. is ready, the U.S. is ready to fucking.
They forget what version of Mexico we're playing.
That's my point, dude. We have been shit for so long. Relax. The media needs to relax, and I think this was a really good wake up call. One of the other things that I wanted to bring up in terms of the group is, and we kind of briefly talked about this, but Iran, they beat Uruguay 1-0 over the break. So Iran's not going to be a walk in the park. Everybody's like, okay, well, maybe we tie against England, maybe we tie against Wales, and then we'll beat Iran. And with 5 points, we go through. I'm going to give you a really hot take right now. The U.S. does not advance in the group. I'll tell you right now.
That's not even a hot take, bro. That's not even a hot take. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a hot take. It is.
At least you're realistic.
It is legitimately. There's a legit shot that U.S. just doesn't progress and gets last.
I can see them being last. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Logically speaking, after missing the World Cup in 2018, that's I guess progress. I don't know, bro. I hate saying that shit. It's just it's crazy because, and also look, I don't want to say the version we saw against Japan is 1,000% the lineup that we're going to see for the World Cup, because we saw guys like Aaron Long playing center back. Why the fuck is Aaron Long? What does he have to prove, bro? Since he's gotten injured, I can't think of a single big game match that meant something for the U.S. The U.S. men's national team, not MLS. MLS is whatever, but for USA, where he paired really well with Zimmerman and didn't have any glaring holes. Whether it's his ability to touch the ball out of the back or the way he tracks runners, there's a hole in his game. He's missing a step. It's very, very apparent in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But then other decisions, right? The fact that we can't figure out who our striker number 9 is. Sometimes the midfield just looks like they missed Musa more than anybody else. There's no engine. There's no one making the midfield tick and go and dictating the tempo. There's so much wrong with this version of the team. I'm not going to say with USA as a whole, but Berhalter has to figure this shit out. I don't know what happens at the coaching helm if we get 0 points or 1 point from the group in the World Cup and we just crash out. I don't know what happens. I don't know what that does for the culture of soccer and football, whatever you want to call it here in the U.S. All these casual fans are gearing up and ready to cheer on USA.
They ain't ready.
And if we crash out like that, bro, what happens? What happens? I don't know if what that does for us getting ready to welcome all the nations and the fans for the 2026 World Cup. It's a snowball effect. We've seen it time and time again. I'm really disappointed. Am I saying this is the doomsday announcement? No, I'm not.
But at least it's a reality check, like Alina said. For a lot of people, I think, especially the ones that actually follow. The ones that actually follow the team that have been, through the thick and thin of not qualifying 4 years ago. It's been 8 years since the U.S. was in a World Cup. 8 fucking years. That's a long time. So people, it's going to be a reality check. But look, I hope, for the sake of CONCACAF, I will say this. I really hope that they step up and they perform. I don't know who the first game is against. Do you know?
I believe it's
because
Wales.
England
and USA is Black Friday.
Black Friday, right? So I think that's their second game in the group. So it might be Wales, then England, then Iran is what I'm kind of remembering.
I think so. Yeah, and look. So USA does have another test.
It's Wales actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Wales, England, Iran.
Yep.
So it's a good start and it's a good end, I would say.
Yeah. At least you know that going into the Iran game, what you need to do. Like if you need to get 3 points, if you need to get 1, like at least it's Iran, right? Like imagine if you had to get 3 points against England at the end. Like that would be a fucking nightmare.
It feels like 2010 World Cup vibes where they had to get that point against Algeria. And Landon Donovan came in at the last fucking second and like
Captain America.
That shit home.
Actual Captain America.
I think that look, it's got those vibes. I don't know. I think if USA turns up against Wales, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna get against England. And we'll talk about England. They're not all fucking in a good spot either. They have their own version of doom and gloom right now. We'll get there. And Southgate and Berhalter to me are both like battle of the shittiest coach, right? Like who's gonna take it home? So we'll see. But either way, Saudi Arabia is coming up this week. USA, we need to see a significantly different version of that team. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything. We're less than 60 days from the World Cup. Not much in a player's cycle is going to change, or the form that they're in is going to change between now and then. Like something has to be shown in that match, or I don't know what we're going to see.
And selfishly, Mexico has Saudi Arabia in their group, so I really hope that you guys crush them. Because if you lose to Saudi Arabia, I'm going to get a little bit worried. Because we also haven't looked good. I mean, we beat Peru yesterday 1-0, 80th minute. Chucky Lozano scored, but we looked like shit for 90 or 79 minutes.
But Mexico's a different story too, and we'll talk about them a little bit too. But Mexico's in a different story where like I feel like Mexico is intentionally not taking their best players because of Tata Martino, and like it becomes now like can we just make the best of our situation?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Can we have a good showing at the World Cup, knowing that we're not going to have
Valenchicha.
Yeah. Well, and the results and the goals that they're just their experience is going to produce. I know it will against other teams, other defenses. Where if you haven't been there, bro, if you haven't been to a tournament that big, it's the biggest competition you'll ever play in your life. If you've never been on a stage that big, it's so easy for the brights to be too light and too bright, I should say. Lights to be too bright, and you just having a shit game or a game where you miss a crucial chance, and sometimes that experience gets you over the hump. So I don't know. With Mexico, completely different scenario. USA, it's like they have all of their cogs, all of their wheels, their pieces, and still finding a way. Again, I just use the same mantra, same shit, different day. It's just it is what it is. We'll hopefully see a better team this week.
Are we going to talk about Japan? I have a very interesting book. If you guys let me,
we should go for it.
Yeah,
we should talk about Japan a little bit.
We should not silence Japan.
And look, I don't want to make this seem for anybody who is following all the teams that have qualified for the World Cup and expecting us to talk about those results. I don't want to make it to seem like we're not giving credit where credit's due. Japan were by far
they're
the better
so
team.
They're like. Every single cycle, it looks like the same fucking Japan over and over and over again. I mean, the fact that they lost to Belgium the way that they did last World Cup was mind blowing. But like those dudes can pack it in. They're extremely clinical, and at the same time, it looks pragmatic. But like their formation works, their tactics work. Everybody's in line. Everybody moves together. Like it's.
They play as a unit. They will say the second goal when they scored and just killed the game off. That was the most indicative of it. It started with the build-up play. Of course, it came in from the left wing, and he I forget his name, but he came into the middle and just slotted it home. And it wasn't like a crazy powerful finish. He really picked his spot.
Great finish.
Yeah, and curled it in. I mean, like I said, Japan looked like a team versus U.S. men's national team looking like a group of collective talents who just haven't found a way to make it work yet. And that to me comes from Berhalter. It doesn't come necessarily from the players.
Agreed.
Jesse Marsch has a lot of his system in leads based around American talent, and they're making it work. So, it is what it is. Alina, did you find something?
Ooh.
I can't. Are you still on mute, by the way?
Maybe.
I think you might be on mute.
My bad. I was muted.
No, you're
But, okay, so this is one of the books I'm reading right now. It's a Japanese manga book, so it's like a graphic Japanese book.
Nice.
And it's called Blue Lock. It is about football.
Shit.
and it's written after the disastrous defeat of Japan at the 2018 World Cup.
See, we were just talking about
it's basically like the Japanese government coming together, like their the government and the football association, and getting like the best players from all of the schools and universities, and just like basically putting them in a battle royale situation where only a few of them are going to come to the top so Japan can win the World Cup. So
it's like fucking
a real system to win.
It's a real system.
It's like Squid Game.
It is. Literally, it is.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Bro, that's actually kind of lit. Squid Game in Japan.
That's crazy.
The result over the that's the thumbnail.
Imagine if they do well though, Japan, like this book is gonna blow up.
Dude, bro, yeah, that's actually really true.
Yeah. Say it again. What's the name of the book?
It's called Blue Lock. It's a manga. It's a Japanese manga.
Nice. I'm gonna check that shit out. That's actually really, really dope.
Where'd you get it? You just buy it on Amazon?
I got it online from Amazon.
Dude.
There's like two volumes. So.
We should, you know what we should do actually for other shows? It doesn't have to be now, but we should start doing some giveaways, and maybe we give away the book.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Well, I've been meaning to kind of bring up, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but bring up like some pieces of content that maybe we're discovering on our own that we think others might find some value in. Whether it's something, you know, like Andre mentioned, right? Something on the Spanish national team by Prime Video. If there's a book that Alina's reading, like. Whatever it may be, guys, the culture of football bleeds into every part of the world in so many unique ways. So many stories that are told that you just have never fucking heard of. So,
and by the way, I was thinking about this before the show. Obviously, talking about international break and watching a lot of those games over the weekend.
Yeah,
I'm sure as we get closer to the World Cup, but we should definitely do like a predictions bracket.
We should
your top two of the group, and then your bracket from round of 16 to the final.
I think there's a parlay. I don't know if anybody is a big gambler or a sports bettor. I am occasionally from time to time.
Same.
There's a good parlay apparently where you just have to pick the winner of each group essentially to get every single one right. And I think like is a pretty good payout. It's like I want to say you spend 100, you get like 10K.
It's pretty good.
Crazy, yeah. And it's just getting every group winner 100% right. So
I mean,
I don't know.
It's better than like choosing two. I feel like choosing first and second place is going to be tough.
It's so tough because you can easily get those backwards and boom, you lose the parlay. But if you get just the top group winner, and you could miss it by one, and that would hurt so fucking much.
I know.
But it could be something.
We should do something like that as we get closer, though.
Yeah, I'm totally down. Totally down. Now, we're jumping to quick hits, guys. The feel good story of the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw. I watched a little bit yesterday. It was so much fun. The SIDEMEN charity match. For our viewers who, if you guys were able to watch it, let us know what your favorite part is. There's so much to choose from because the score was literally fucking 8-7. But it was, for those who aren't aware, it was a charity match that KSI and his team SIDEMEN typically do. They've been doing this for a little while. But when COVID hit, they stopped doing it for a few years. It kind of went on a hiatus. It's back in full form. They booked out the what was the venue? Charlton Athletic. The Valley Stadium. Guys, 27,000, completely packed, as you can imagine, right? I imagine both boomers and zoomers were in full effect there at the stadium. And then almost 3 million people on YouTube tuned in.
That's
crazy.
Wild, dude.
Everybody from Castro 1021 to Mr. Beast to Mini Minter to Chunks to Pie Face to iShowSpeed. They were all there. Everybody was there in full form. I don't know if you guys had a favorite moment. Again, it ended 8-7. But for me, I think that the pieces that were really funny. One, Castro still fucking got it. That man, he does baller, dude. He's a baller. He lives here in Dallas. He still does like those IRL streams where he'll go play like at an indoor center with some of his friends or family, whatever. And he still kind of balls. But bro, in front of the 27,000, he had a fucking banger. iShowSpeed had a banger of a goal. But his yellow card and his post match interview were my two favorite pieces of the whole thing, bro. Speed is not a footballer, for those of you who don't watch. He's just a big CR7 fan. Like he likes hitting the like in front of everybody.
That's funny, bro.
That's really it, bro. That's all he fucking does. He's not even like a big footballer.
He scored a goal. My favorite part was when he scored a goal on offsides and he goes to the corner to do the and then the ref is like holding the flag up.
Yeah,
bro, check your linesman, my guy. He's
like, fuck all that. I was like, man, don't even have him look at it, bro. Don't even have him look at it. I think we need more of those, bro. I want to see a charity match where they blend real footballers with the the Twitch footballers, right? The football YouTubers who create content. I think that would be so much fun, right? I think KSI probably has the resources to pull it off. I would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Alina, go play. You should go.
Yeah.
Play.
Hell yeah. That'd be so lit.
Yeah. Come on.
No. Hey, to be fair, all of my my high school teachers told me I was really good, but I just never really.
This is your opportunity.
I didn't want to stay after school, guys. I could have made it to the USA national team.
Too busy with other shit.
Too busy.
I'm gonna nominate you next year.
But imagine they did that.
I won't let you down.
Even on the women's side, right? Let's say like they brought in like Lisa Manley,
Casey.
they got Alina in, and like a bunch of others. If they invited you, you wouldn't go play?
Oh, I would play.
Yeah, you get a nice little jersey.
Come on.
What would your celebration be?
My celebration. Oh man. Okay, so one of my favorite celebrations. No. I know. I have.
Please don't throw me the L. Don't throw me the Antoine
Griezmann. Okay, so if you guys remember, there was a celebration called The Business on FIFA. I don't know. They took it out. I think it was like FIFA 16, but it's basically you run up and then you do this like.
Oh yeah, like just standing in front of the.
Come on. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's mine.
Very Rooney of you.
Very Rooney of you.
Yeah.
If we're going off FIFA celebrations, bro, I would do the dolphin. Or...
Oh my god!
Wait, what is the dolphin?
The dolphin dive?
Yeah.
Like where you just jump like a dolphin, like just straight in.
Kind of like the brick. Yeah, the dead fish.
The dead fish.
The
dead fish. Yeah. So I would just jump straight in and hopefully not dislocate a shoulder or the Drogba.
Which one? Oh, the Drogba?
Yeah.
You are wearing a Ivory Coast.
That's kind of why I said it for today. I think the Drogba would be fucking lit.
That would be tight.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I would want to do like a really long slide into a corner.
That would be sick.
Post. That'd be fucking dope.
But then you have to fix the grass, but that's okay.
It's worth it. Guys, one time we can do a GOLZ charity game.
Someone has brought that.
So cool.
Someone has brought that up before. I really want to, but I want to do it in a way that someone else hasn't done it. So like with like actual professional footballers would be dope, but have them play positions that aren't on field, like the keeper or the coach or something else.
I'll invite some of my buddies, dude.
Bro,
that'd be funny.
I think it'd be so lit. I think
that'd be tight.
I'm totally game for that, by the way.
Okay.
So we should
Great
look into
idea,
something.
actually. Great idea.
Andre, really quick, what would your celebration be, bro?
Easy. Calma.
Oh, bro, shut up. You can't sure. I can't stand that Ronaldo celebration, bro. Okay.
It's the best. You can't say because he did it at the Camp Nou more often
I know,
than not.
bro. I fucking remember. Anyway, moving on to more important matters. Quick hits. All right, guys. There were some international matches. We're not going to just keep it all off the pitch. There were some on the pitch activity that we could talk about this week. Jumping into more international break matches, and let's stick with the UEFA Nations League to keep things off. I talked about U.S. men's national team. I talked earlier about how I felt Southgate and Berhalter were the two coaches really kind of stuttering at the moment. They're in the same group in the World Cup, and maybe we saw a preview of the version of England that we're going to see in the World Cup. I think it's still too early to tell, but they stutter to a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Italy, non-World Cup participant.
It's like trauma at this point.
Bro,
it's getting PTSD.
It's so crazy. Like, it's almost like England.
We beat them in England. We beat them in Italy. We beat them everywhere.
First off, is there a rivalry here now? Can we say there's a rivalry between England and Italy?
I think it's very one-sided for Italy, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean that's probably fair. But I don't know. Should we read too much into this? The fact that Italy hasn't won a World Cup, should we just automatically cast them as like a bad team, and this is a bad team beating a World Cup participant in England? Is that fair?
I don't know if Italy's a bad team. They just
that's the thing. What's their FIFA ranking? Can you look that up?
I don't know. Let's look.
Because
they just got a bad break in qualifying. That's it. That Macedonia
game. It was just that one game.
The Macedonia game.
They shit the bed twice.
Italy lost. Italy did not qualify for the World Cup because of number one, Jorginho's 2 missed penalties, or however many he missed.
It was 2.
Number 2, a terribly played game against Macedonia.
Okay,
that's why Otherwise, they did fine in all of the qualifiers. They were playing fine, and then it was just
the Macedonia game was just trash.
So let's not trash Italy, right? And he did start, right? He did still start against England in this game. And look, and what was crazy, if we talk about just the rosters for a second, I want to pull some of that up really quick. Just even the rosters. Go ahead.
7th in the world, Italy are.
So that is by far the highest ranked, I think, World Cup team not to be participating, or highest ranked world team not in the World Cup.
Not to be in the World Cup, yeah.
So with that said, I'm gonna go back to like the starters really quick.
It's wild, bro.
From this game,
is wild.
So I know that England won. Why the fuck is Harry Maguire still starting? Can anybody explain this shit to me? Like,
who else are you gonna play
besides
Ben White?
Harry Maguire? I would have brought.
Yeah, would you play?
I would have brought Ben White, but he didn't even bring him. He didn't even bring him.
The audacity
to the camp. Yeah, so
for
that
me, Dyer shouldn't be starting either. It should be Tomori and White.
I mean, to be fair, in the Premier League, I'm an Arsenal fan, White. And Dyer has not been bad. Dyer's actually, in comparison to like Christian Romero, has actually been, I think, a little more reliable as a center back for Spurs. And I will argue
it was kind of lucky too, right? Because like they were playing him as a holding mid, then Højbjerg started playing really well, and then they're like, "Fuck, we don't have anybody else at center back.
You don't need two. Yeah, you don't need two pivots in that system. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like it makes sense, right? And center back and defensive mid are such interchangeable positions. So
yeah,
but look. Let's read off the formation. So 3-4-3 for England. In the back was Dyer, Maguire, Kyle Walker. I'm not terribly mad at that. Kyle Walker has some experience playing center back. I just don't get why Maguire is so heavily leaned upon. I heard Southgate even before the game say he will risk his reputation for Harry Maguire. Cool, bro. Do it. I don't think you had that much reputation.
There has to be something going on with Maguire because he played the Euros too. Like, he trusted him every single game in the Euros. So, like, what is it?
I don't know
what is it with this guy.
I don't know. Maybe he's like really good in training. Like, honestly, I've played with dudes that are amazing in training, and they just like disappear during a game.
But at some point, the game is what matters, bro. I just feel like you have to like bench him and test him or something. You know, pull a Conte
like the Son.
Yeah, put him on the bench and be like, bro, prove your worth. Sure. I just want to see it in the game, and that's it.
I got you.
And then in the midfield, from left to right, Saka, Rice, Bellingham, Reece James.
Solid.
That's fine to me.
Yeah. And up top, Sterling, Kane, Foden.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah,
maybe like, Saka.
0 goals.
I know.
0. So let's talk about that. Right,
5 games without a win. Fuck.
Yes, bro. 5 games now. First time since 2014 without a W for this version of England, which I think is an extremely talented version.
And their goal differential is like one goal scored, and it's a penalty kick, and then 7 goals against in all those 5 games.
I don't know, bro.
Giving me Juve vibes.
Oh yeah, sorry, Alina.
Yeah. I mean, so let me ask this question to both of you. I'd like an answer from both of you guys. We'll start with Alina. Who's under more pressure right now? Southgate for England or Berhalter for the U.S. men's national team?
Oof.
England, 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, for the USA, it's a different kind of pressure because you're not expected to win the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
England are a team that are one of the favorites. They're expected to win the World Cup.
And a top 5 team in the world. Yeah.
Top 5. Yeah. And I think, I mean, just the way that England did in the Euros and in the last World Cup too, this is like one of their last chances, especially with Kane at least, because I don't really see another English striker as good as Kane like coming up soon. Yeah. And I don't know if my guess is going to be Kane's last World Cup for England, because what is he, 30, 31, 32?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Might be 31, something like that.
31, yeah. So by the next World Cup, he's going to be 35. He's probably not going to be starting because he's not a Messi, he's not a Ronaldo. He's not going to be. No, he's not going to stay that fit. Yeah, this is it for him.
He'll probably come off the bench. I could see one of those maybe in the next one. But like I think more importantly too, I looked at their bench. Like they're really, Alina's right. There are no real other options. Tammy Abraham is the backup striker. You could argue maybe Calvert-Lewin gets a little more experience between now and like the next World Cup, and he becomes the guy. He's got all the physical intangibles.
Dude, what about Rashford? You don't think Rashford could play as a 9?
I don't like him as a 9. I just don't. I don't think he's clinical enough.
Yeah.
But is he better than Saka, even Grealish, like the dudes who started, like Sterling? Like, where are you putting Rashford? Sancho?
Winger? I
over all those guys?
It's so difficult, bro. Like, I haven't seen enough of Rashford. I think in the earliest days they thought he was a striker, but then like you would see the way he goes at defenders, and you just thought naturally he was a more gifted winger. Yeah. He's got speed, but I think he misses very clinical opportunities sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is why you want someone like Harry Kane up there.
Yeah.
I also think that Harry Kane's ability to combine with every midfielder and every winger the way he does, not just for England but for Spurs, is why he plays that role. Yeah. And they don't have another guy like that. Calvert-Lewin is probably the closest mold, in my opinion. Granted, I don't watch Tammy Abraham for Roma too often. So he might be that guy.
I watched some of their games.
Does he combine pretty well?
Yes and no. He's solid enough for Mourinho and Roma. Is he solid enough for the expectations that England have to be their number one striker? I don't think he's ready for that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready for that. For me personally.
Yeah,
I am a big fan of him, but I don't think he's ready for that kind of responsibility yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just to move on from this piece, England have not looked the same as of late since the Euros, in my opinion. They've looked very lackluster. And I think it's not necessarily the players, maybe the system. I honestly think it's more of Southgate's decision making. I think that the decisions he made in the game, and this dates back all the way back even to the Euros, the mid match substitutions, the substitutions that he brought on late in extra time in Italy, the young kids he brought on to take the penalties, the subs he made.
Though, one last thing to mention also about England in the Euros is didn't they play like 7 out of their 9 games at home?
Yeah.
So I think they overperformed in a way, and now we're going to see the real England. Yeah, now we're going to see the real England in the World Cup.
In Qatar. Yeah, I still think their fans will show up in full effect, but like at the end of the day, like it's just it's different when most of your games are in front of the home crowd. So yeah, I don't know. Who's under more pressure? I mean, in my opinion, I think we all kind of agree it's Southgate. I do think that the Berhalter pressure is real, though. I think
I agree.
If he doesn't get out of groups, if USA does not make it out of the group, I just don't see a scenario where he stays on as coach. A manager.
To be honest, even if he does, like say they, squeeze their way through to the round of 16 and they just lose in the fourth
the way they normally do, right?
Yeah, is he the guy to move forward for the next 4 years, knowing that you're going to host the World Cup? I think you go after Jesse Marsch for the next term.
I just don't think Jesse leaves the Premier League. Here's the thing: I think the candidates that you have for that position just don't leave where they're at, and therefore, I don't know if you have a better option. I think that they may try to look at someone internally within the federation, because that's the type they sometimes do. They'll bring like the U20 coach up into the senior national team and see if that works.
You should take Tata Martino, dude, after Mexico.
Oh yeah, that's worked out. It's crazy, bro. I don't know what's going to happen, but either way, England's under quite a bit of pressure themselves. Now, speaking of teams under pressure, which I didn't think that this would be the case, but Germany looked very average in their 1-0 loss to Hungary, and Hungary now sit at the top of their group in the UEFA Nations League
in the World Cup. We were talking about that, right, Alina? Like she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see Hungary in the World Cup." It's tough.
I mean, to be fair, they have a handful of really great talents, but like they looked decent in the Euros. They always look like a decent team. It's just maybe Europe is so competitive when it comes to World Cup qualifiers. I mean,
getting over the hump.
It's understandable that they're not there, but nonetheless, they came out ready to play against Germany and got the 1-0 win. Does Hansi Flick have anything to worry about, Andre, heading into the World Cup with this version of Germany?
Yes, and you know why? Because I'm maybe a hot take, but I think the way that Bayern play is indicative of how the German national team play. Like, if you really think about it, when they were dominant and when they've been kind of that tournament team to follow, Bayern's been dominant too. Like, the core of the team is Bayern Munich. And so I think that it does carry over to the national team, especially when you start adding pieces right here and there where somebody else has to step in. I mean, Kimmich looked okay, but again, everybody just looked average. I think that's a really good way of describing how they looked and how they've looked recently. So yeah, if I'm Hansi Flick, I start to get worried. It's too late. Like right now, all these results, if I'm a manager, you can't bring in new blood. Like you're less than 60 days away from the World Cup. You know what I mean? And so you just kind of have to do what you can with what you have, which is unfortunate for some national teams. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, dude. Do you think another World Cup without them going through, or what?
I don't know, bro. I feel like here's the thing: is 0 goals against Hungary. Yep. Starting striker was Timo Werner.
Yep.
Am I reading too much into that, Alina?
He should not be the starting striker. I'm sorry, but like we were talking about like Abraham being like the next choice. After Kane, this is Germany we're talking about. This is 4 World Cup winning Germany, tied with Italy, is only second to Brazil.
nobody was saying this shit about Timo before Chelsea though. Like if anything, he was going to be the next guy that was going to like take over the throne from like when Klose was still, you know, notching in goals for Germany, and they finally had a speedster up front. But now he's not finding the back of the net with Chelsea. He's kind of finding it with Leipzig a little bit, but he's still off form. Yeah. And now Germany, which by the way, let me read this out to you guys. This is the starting lineup: 4-2-3-1.
Sure.
Ter Stegen in the back. No Neuer anywhere on the roster. None. Just not there at all. I
like that.
I do too. Neuer. I mean, I think Ter Stegen is the best version.
His time it has gone. Yeah.
So now from left to right: Rom, Rudiger, Sule, and Hoffman. Which Sule to me has let up some interesting goals for Dortmund. I've been an adamant watcher of Dortmund so far this season. I think that part's a little interesting. Rudiger playing for Real Madrid, coming off the season he had, it makes sense. The two pivots though, Gundogan as a pivot is really, really interesting to me. Yeah. Gundogan and Kimmich. Kimmich makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the three attacking mids were from left to right: Sané, Muller, Gnabry. So like Andre said, Bayern
Munich.
Yeah. And then Werner up top.
Timo.
They don't really have another big name striker though. I guess the guy they would probably throw in there is Havertz. That's who they ended up subbing on for him. Was Kai Havertz, who's not finding his way with.
I mean,
with
we've
Chelsea
talked about Havertz. Is he a number 9? He's not a number 9, dude. He's more like a creative player.
He's like an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how Potter's playing him though? Right now at Chelsea?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know what his plan is for Havertz.
I don't think he's a 9, but to your point, and going back to my point earlier of the groups, they play Japan, which again looked fucking good. They play Spain. They lost to Switzerland. Whatever, it's still Spain in the World Cup. And then Costa Rica, who are kind of the dark horse in this group. So it's not like Germany has an easy path to the round of 16. So it's going to be interesting.
We could see. I think I always feel more confident for whatever reason with Hansi Flick as opposed to Yogi Löw. I think Yogi Löw as a manager was a great manager, but towards the end he was you were seeing the wheel start to come off. Right. I think he should have left like a year or so before. Hansi Flick is and he comes from that regime with Yogi Löw. He managed under him, but I feel like he's more of a machine. Like he's a very strong believer in the process, everything that you have to do to be ready for a tournament this big. Yep. I think he'll have his team ready, but the fact that the two biggest goal scorers they can rely upon now, especially with Marco Reus injured, which was, dude, fucking just sad. It's tearful, bro. Tearful. Yeah. But with those two, Havertz and Werner, I think we should have to ask ourselves: is Germany in trouble? Are they going to be just missing a crucial piece up in front of their entire team that can't find the back of the net? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Moving on, Portugal rolls past Czech Republic 4-0. Kind of an interesting scoreline. I don't know why I thought the Czech Republic was going to be a little more
challenging.
Yeah, challenging, just hungry. I thought Schick Schick missed his fucking penalty, but I thought he was just going to have maybe a better day. Nonetheless, though, I feel like this game gave us everything, guys. We had a couple goals from Diogo Dalot. We had a busted up bloody nose on Cristiano Ronaldo, and that was kind of crazy to see, man. Superman bleeds. And then, the missed pen by Schick. So I think all in all, great match to watch from a neutral's perspective. I will also say I was waiting to see how the kits looked when they came out because we talked about them last week. Bro, the kits are trash. I hate Portugal's kits. Why do we do them like this, bro?
Not that bad.
I don't like them.
That bad.
I think the part that sucked is the fact that because Czech Republic had white shorts, they had to go with the blue shorts. So the white, blue, white was kind of weird. But I think if you see the whole kit, white, it looks better. I like the little strip in the front. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Nike did some teams so dirty, bro. Yeah. I just don't understand.
What do you think of the US one, by the way? Seeing it live for the first time, yeah.
So I actually got a chance to see it yesterday. Alina, I sent Andre a picture yesterday of the France jersey I picked up. I'll send it to you. I got the away one.
Send it.
It looks way better in person.
The away one?
Beautiful, yeah.
With the Arc de Triomphe in the middle.
I'm so scared to get it dirty, but it's so beautiful.
It is sick.
Man. Any player in the back?
No. I just kept it like just kind of. I don't want to jinx any player. I'm very superstitious like that. Anyway, I got it. I got a chance to touch a lot of the World Cup kits. The USA one, now even less impressive. It sounds so bad to say, bro. I'm just not excited about it. Like it's even the tie-dye one. Like I don't know why I thought I was gonna even just look a little better up close in person, and it doesn't. It's just kind of the same way it looks on the site. It's just very basic, not bad. It's just very C tier, very mid.
Sure.
Training tops, in my opinion. But
it's fair.
Anyway, Portugal had a great result, 4-0. Saw a little bit of everything there. And then kind of wrap up, at least the European side with Nations League, we had a shocking result at home. That's why I think it was shocking. Switzerland down Spain 2-1. Only having 25% of the ball. As you can imagine, Spain always has a ton of possession.
Yep.
Andre, you and I watch La Liga the most. Is Spain... Are we going to see just a lackluster version of Spain? Are we going to see a lackluster version of all of these powerhouse nations that we thought that were just going to be ramping up in a really big way coming into the World Cup?
I think so. I've talked to a few friends about this offline, and I think if there's any World Cup that will give us that, dark horse, whether it's a champion or at least even making it to like the semis, it's this time around. Because there isn't really anybody, outside of like France and Belgium, Argentina and Brazil, sure. But like in a tournament, especially when it's, a one game win or go home, right? Like bracket style tournament, anything can happen. Yeah. And so I think this year, to your point of like Germany, England, Spain not looking great. I think this is a chance for, I don't know, maybe like a Canada to do something crazy, a African team to step up and do something big, Senegal maybe. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, dude. I think this is the most parity that we'll see in a World Cup in a long, long time. I'm willing to bet.
I think so too. I think we had a little bit of taste of that last year, right, with Germany, and not even making it out of the groups. And then it's kind of, modern football is becoming almost a level set, right? Where you're just like,
I love it.
Teams are now catching up and bridging the skill gap between them and the top end of the table. So
well, and it's like the most, I guess, like the most obvious fact on that is, like, for example, when you look at like Korea beating Germany, right, like 2-0, but then you look down the Korea roster and it's like you've got Son, who plays at a very high level in the EPL. Like, you can't just base your previous knowledge of what Korea versus Germany would tell you, right? Like it's you have to look at the players player by player, and to our point earlier, even like Japan, like teams like that who just their growth, and it's exponential and it's continuous. It's like every single cycle they get better and better and better. So that gap of like being at the top and being kind of mediocre is closing.
Yeah, 100%.
So that just works in your favor. And the biggest thing I think for a tournament like the World Cup or even like the Euros is smaller. Let's just use that term. Smaller teams have no pressure. Right? Like, it's like you're already there. Yeah. You're already there. Like, fuck it. The pressure's on Germany. The pressure's on Spain. The pressure's on England to perform, not on us. Let's just fucking have fun.
Yeah. So, and more importantly, it's so we talked about this before. Andre and I have had conversations around, Alina, whether it's more difficult. And I want to ask this question on the show and see what maybe some of the viewers think, whether it's more difficult to win a week in and week out season long competition versus winning a tournament where you're simply gearing up for a match, right?
Yeah.
I think on any given match day, either team can win. Doesn't matter how dominant one team is versus the other. That's the beauty of things like Champions League or Cup football in general, is that it's unpredictable. Anybody can gear up for a cup match, and that's what makes the World Cup so fucking special. I love it. Yeah. We'll have that argument one day on the show, 100%. And then pivoting away from Nations League, to kind of wrap up quick hits, we had down in South America some great kind of World Cup tests, I guess you could say. Let's talk about Brazil first. The 3-0 win against Ghana. I saw some great highlights. I didn't even make kind of the highlight reel from Brazil. For me, Brazil is going to be just their attack, I think, in all honesty, is going to be like another fucking level when they get there because of how many options. Yep. It feels like France. It feels like talking about France. They have so many options to tap on, whether it comes to from wingers, forwards, attacking mids, like whoever. There's so many big name players on this Brazil roster that play for some of the biggest clubs in the world. I saw things, this past weekend, like Vinny. I don't know, Andre, if you saw Vinny.
Yep.
Dude, the guy looked fucking phenomenal. Just
that outside of the ball foot.
Bro, oh my God.
Right outside the football. Fucking
dude, crazy. Insane. And then who missed it?
I can't remember. I can't remember
who the forward was. They were, the ball long story short, Brazil was missing some chances in the beginning. They came back, and Richarlison was able to find a couple goals. Neymar had a couple assists. Yep. All in all, both those guys really helped Brazil cruise past Ghana in a really big way. And look, at the end of the day, shout out to Ghana. I think that, what beat them necessarily wasn't one better team beating another. It was more of individually better talents just outshining them. There's no other way to break it down. And Brazil looks like they're going to be a team that a lot of teams will just have to kind of come to a reckon with, right? Figure out a way to stop all of that forward talent they have. And on the other side, Argentina making light work of Honduras. Andre, how'd you feel about some of the goals that we saw in that one?
Through that chip by Messi was nasty.
I mean, yeah, it was very Messi-esque.
Yeah. No, I think I was talking to somebody else over the weekend about Argentina and Brazil, and they're not skipping a beat, Like, I think Argentina is like 30 plus games unbeaten. Dating back as like 2.5 years or so. I mean, I'm scared. They're in my group. Like, I don't want to play Argentina. Fuck that. But at the same time, pressure's on them. So maybe Mexico can get a result like we did against Germany 4 years ago. So yeah. I don't know. But no, Argentina looks really, really solid. Their away kit, I will say.
They look good.
You called it. It looks fucking good. Oh, I'm not going to lie. Pretty tight.
I want it so bad.
It's fucking sick. Bro, seeing it live was way better, dude. Seeing it with the players, fucking sweet.
You know what's crazy? So at that store that I went to this weekend, guys, it was a toss-up between France and Argentina. I went with France because it's got so much heritage that's built into the kit. But I'm probably going to go back and get the Argentina one just because it looks so damn sexy. And maybe we can do one of these episodes right before the Argentina-Mexico game where I'm rocking Argentina and Andres is rocking Mexico.
That's cool. Thanks for the support.
Yes, sir. We'll see, bro. I might be rocking my dad's away Mexico kit. We'll see. I don't know, bro. Shit looks clean. All right, guys. Lastly, because we have to talk about it because I just started getting into the show. I'm way late compared to so many other people. There's such a cult following built around Jason Sudeikis in this show now. But Ted Lasso become a giant pillar of I want to call it the American soccer culture, if there is one at the moment, right? Around, casuals and how some of those fans are embracing their newfound love of the game. But Ted Lasso going above and beyond just this amazing show that Apple TV's produced. It started off as a commercial, but to promote the Premier League in the States. It's become a 4-time Emmy Award-winning show, and now we're talking about Ted Lasso being in the game of FIFA. Fucking insane! It blows my mind. Added to FIFA 23, you're gonna get a chance, as far as I know, to play as AFC Richmond. Alina, I don't know, are there any other rollouts around being able to use Ted Lasso Manager, career mode?
Yep.
Things like that. I don't know. As a FIFA streamer and a content creator, do you find are you going to maybe potentially wrap Ted Lasso into some of your content this year? What are you thinking?
Why not? That's my answer. I have anything new and anything that's like added to the game. Like it's going to be exciting. Fun, and it's going to be exactly. It's going to be exciting to try. It's going to be exciting to play with and see. And I think again, I mean, the more things we have relating to like promoting the game in the USA, the better. And that's why it's so freaking crucial going back to the World Cup, because the USA need to perform this World Cup. Because if they don't, we're going to lose another generation of kids who are not interested in football again. And we're going to need to like wait another 5 years. But yes, going back to Ted Lasso, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Look, let's not understate what you just said. I mean, I agree with you. I think Ted Lasso, the show itself, was so impactful for building up again, I say any kind because, guys, when you travel, if you're not a big footy fan, maybe you're just discovering it now. Andre knows as well as I do. In fact, even more so because he's born in Mexico, lives in the U.S. You've been to Moscow for the 2018 World Cup, bro. I mean, the culture bleeds into everything, and yet in America, it's still somewhat considered a niche sport. We want to have our own culture around the game, the way that South America has their own culture, the way that Europe has their own culture, and even countries within those respective continents have their own culture that footy bleeds into. We want some of that here, right? And I think that how the U.S. men's national team performs, how some of these integrations, like the Ted Lasso FIFA 23 integration, is rolled out, all impacts how the game is received and how the culture is built up. So cool to see. But I think on a more serious note, like Elena mentioned, USA has got to figure out a way to keep this sport relevant on this side of the world. So
I can't wait to score with Jamie Tart. I will say that. My man's Jamie Tart.
Yes, sir. I can't wait to try and like start. If I get to do Ted Lasso career mode, by the way, just last point on this. I'm a big career mode guy. I love playing it. I love doing a lot of career mode content. I think it'd be really cool to do. To just, I don't know, see a Pep Guardiola versus Ted Lasso and like
imagine
his press conference is gonna be tight.
It'd be wild. But anyway, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Previews before we wrap things up, guys. We got some big Nations League matches. We are heading into the final week of the international break before club football returns, and there are some big matches up on the horizon. So let's go through. We got 4 on the agenda here. Let's go. So start with Denmark versus France. I think it's really kind of easy for a lot of maybe the casual fans out there to say this is a lock for France. We can't really say that. Denmark has a very viable roster, first and foremost. Their last major international competition in the Euros. How far did they get? Was it quarterfinals?
Yeah.
Semifinals?
I think so.
Yeah. And look, they have players like Eriksen, who is balling at the fucking moment, in my opinion. I was going to say something like Martin Braithwaite, but that's just because I'm a Barcelona fan. He was here once upon a time.
Sure.
Anyway, but nonetheless, right? We can't discount Denmark in this whole thing. But let's put them on the side for a second. Let's talk about France and how potent this team is. They will be coming into this with a few different injuries, though. Unfortunately, guys like Koundé, Dembele, I think a couple others got injured in their last match. They may be available for the second one. We'll see. But how do we expect this match to go? Prediction time. Andres, let's start with you, bro.
Dude, okay. So, fun fact, I actually went to Denmark, France in Moscow 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was a group stage game. It ended 0-0. They've played recently. It ended 1-1. I'm going to go with another tie, and I'm going to say 2-2 this time around.
Okay. And this game is about to be played like right now, guys.
Yep.
So just heads up.
I'm going to go 2-2, especially because France is lacking those players that you mentioned, especially in defense.
Here's the lineup. Here's the lineup defensively. Yeah. So Badiashile, Saliba, and Upamecano. Saliba is a rock. So Badiashile, I like a little bit. I'm trying to see who else they would have started. I guess Varane. Is Varane injured?
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't been playing for United, so I think it's more a coach's decision than anything else.
Okay. So maybe there's something there that we're not seeing. And Upamecano, good defender.
Sure.
I mean, it should work. So they're running a 3-4-1-2. The 4 in the mid are Mendy, Camavinga, Chouameni, and Pavard. Pavard is I mean, he does push up. Should be a good wing back for them. We'll see. Griezmann controlling the 10. And then Mbappe and Giroud up top.
Dude, that's
my boy Giroud.
Dude, Giroud. I honestly, bro, people talk so much shit about Giroud. I think the guy is just an assassin. I think that he knows how to find a goal in the moment.
There's a reason he
Dude,
plays.
There's
a reason.
He's gonna break that scoring record, I think.
Yeah, bro. People talk so much shit. Even when in his time at Montpellier or Arsenal, I'm like, bro, y'all are. Yeah. He scores goals, and it might be more with his head than his foot, but I don't give a shit. Like, he finds the net. Yeah. Anyway, now a 4-3-3 for Denmark. Here's how they look from left to right in the back. Male, Christensen, Anderson, and the other Christensen. I think Yogi Anderson and Christensen, pretty good pairing. Crystal Palace and Barcelona. I'm all right with that. In the midfield, the 2 pivots, Delaney and Højbjerg, pretty good. The 10, Eriksen, and then up top from left to right, Damsgaard, Dolberg, and Olsen.
Dude, Kasper Dolberg is a G.
Yeah, he is. He's a G. He knows how to score.
Telling you, bro.
Eriksen will find a way to help his team get a goal here. More than one, kind of tricky. So, what'd you say your score was, Andre?
2-2. Yeah.
Alina?
I don't know, because, I mean, like, Denmark are in the World Cup, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Are they? Okay, so I think it's pretty much going to be a game where, at least for France, because France are like 5 points away from Croatia right now in the Nations League, Group 1. So I think it's mostly going to be a game about getting ready for the World Cup, because I think this is the last game before the actual World Cup, the last national game for.
I think so. Before they release the final list, and then they have games.
Yeah. So,
and by the way, Denmark and France are in the same group again in the World Cup. That's Australia.
Then it's even more
Australia, Denmark, France, and Tunisia in that group again. So
tough for Tunisia.
You know what's funny? Yeah. You know what's funny, guys? Because I was thinking earlier, like, is France gonna have the group stage curse? Do you guys know what that is?
Well, from what? The 2010?
Okay, so basically Italy won in 2006, right? The World Cup. They get knocked out in the group stage 2010.
Sure.
2010 Spain win the World Cup. They get knocked out in the group stages. 2014. 2014 Germany win the World Cup. They get knocked out of the group stage in 2018. So are France gonna get knocked out of the group stage? Now that I'm thinking about the group is absolutely terrible, so there is no chance. So I think the curse is gonna end.
Imagine though, imagine that they don't make it.
I would love that.
Dude, imagine
I want the curse to be a thing.
Australia and Denmark.
If that happens, curses are real, and I'm 1,000% looking up the prices for my local witch doctor.
Baby.
1,000%.
That's
all right,
fucking hilarious, dude.
two more games being played today, and then we have Italy versus Hungary tomorrow. We'll get to that one, but another game just kicked off right now: Netherlands versus Belgium. This is a fucking big one,
banger.
So let's talk about the lineups really quick. Let's go through Netherlands really quick. So. They're running 3-4-1-2, 3 in the back, Ake, Virgil, and Timber. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. And then from left to right, the 4 is Dally Blind.
I forgot playing.
Bourgeois, not
Bergwijn?
Not Bergwijn. The other one.
Oh, Bergwijn or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Bergwijn, whatever his name is. De Roon and Dumfries.
Fine.
I think
Dumfries
that's
is legit.
fine. Klaassen as the 10, and then the 2 up top are Bergwijn and Janssen.
That's solid.
Yeah, I mean, they're missing guys like...
There's
so many guys who didn't start here.
Frankie de Jong.
So here's their bench, bro. Cody Gakpo.
He scored
last game. The great and powerful Mathis de Ligt. I'm waiting for Alina's reaction.
Yeah, there it is.
Kenneth Taylor, Broby, Gravenberch. Dude, Gravenberch can't find time for Munich or for the Dutch team. It's crazy. Tyrell Malacia.
Solid.
Weghorst.
Where's Van de Beek. Where's he at?
Yeah. Not here, bro. He's at home like the rest of us. All right. And then Belgium. Let's go to the lineup really quick. 3-4-2-1. So slight change in the midfield. Because they were at 3-4-1-2, I believe, in the last game. Vertonghen. Courtois. Sorry. Courtois at the keep. And for the Netherlands, it's Pasveer for the keep.
Yeah.
But the 3 in the back for Belgium, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. How long has that been the fucking center back duo?
That is not a good combo.
That's a Roberto Martinez special right there.
Yeah, and De Bost, who's like the younger guy there, but like the 2 old heads next to him. I don't know about that. But my guess is they're probably going to morph to like a 5 in the back. So the 4 in the mid are Castagna, who's naturally a left back, Axel Witsel, Onana, and Meunier. Again, also naturally an outside back. So those are probably going to be their support numbers there.
Yeah.
And then the 2 10s, De Bruyne and Eden Hazard. What the fuck is going on, bro? Why does De Bruyne need help from the guy who's missing PKs for Real Madrid?
And he's wearing the captain's armband, by the way. I'll have you know. Respect the man.
And then Batshuayi too. Like, what the hell?
Dude.
Batman,
I don't know. It's like Belgium. It's like Belgium thinks it's 2010 all over again, bro. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Their golden generation's gone. Where's Lukaku? Oh, Lukaku's injured. I forgot about him. Okay, I give them some slack then. They have an important player injured.
This may be a hot take, but I would start Trossard over Eden Hazard.
No.
Yeah, have a good one.
Did you say he's a little more fit though now, Hazard? He's a little more fit. He's lost some weight.
Okay, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. This version of Trossard is starting for a top 4 in the Prem table team versus Hazard, who I don't even know. Like, yes, he's playing for Real Madrid only because Benzema's not starting. Let's be real.
Respect him.
And I'm sorry, Hazard's not better than Vinny or Rodrigo. Disagree or
agree? No, obviously not. But it's
okay.
A different.
So he's not starting on his own team.
He's a different guy on the national team, dude.
But exactly. Belgium are going to win the World Cup, and Hazard is going to get the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, it's going to be.
It's not going to happen.
This whole section's a wash.
I'll personally buy Joey a fucking Belgium jersey with Hazard on the back.
Brave. I'm not wearing that shit. Anyway, look. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is,
have to if they win, though.
There's 4 brothers.
If they win, I will wear it, take a picture, and do a celebration with it on. If they win, right. But there's no fucking way that's happening. And
do the little Hazard run.
Back to the argument. I don't think Hazard starts for a team that's in the top 4, including Brighton.
No,
bro. I don't think he does it. Bro. I think that team ticks a different way, and I don't think it works with like players who are very individualistic. And I think Hazard is that guy. I think he is kind of like that shifty. I need the ball. I need to play with it a certain way, and then find players when I see fit. Brighton doesn't work that way. Grubb, Trossard,
system. Yeah,
it's a system. It's very much a system, and like I just don't see it. So again, for me, I start Trossard next to De Bruyne. But fuck it, maybe it's just me. I don't know.
He's probably a good like 60-minute sub, Like
and look who's also on the bench. 30. Salamakers,
Benteke.
Hey, Salamakers is good. He should play. Why isn't he playing?
I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying.
He's the next generation. He's a decent winger.
But yet, and Hazard's on the field.
Okay, you know what? Never mind. I don't like Hazard anymore.
Oh my god.
Yannick Carrasco's on the bench. Yannick Carrasco.
Carrasco's solid, dude.
He's solid. Yuri Tillemans.
Ooh, another solid dude.
I mean, Leicester's shit in the bed right now, but like, hey, another solid player.
They're saving their players. I say they're saving their players. They're too scared about injuries. I think that's what's happening.
It could be.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The other Hazard's on the bench.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's more than one. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Look, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The other game today being played, Wales-Poland. Let me pull that one up really quick.
Garth. I really hope Wales beat Poland because also Poland is in our group and they're our first match of the World Cup. And I'm pretty scared.
That's going to be a good game.
So I won't go through the whole lineup because it's pretty much Wales' normal starting lineup. I will say Dan James is starting next to Gareth Bale. So they're running a 3-4-2-1. The two attacking mids are James and Bale. I'm willing to bet
love that
they probably drift wide as time kind of goes on in the game. But there aren't really any notable exclusions here. They're both starting. Ramsey is no.
Your man.
He's not even being called up anymore.
Of course, he's injured.
Yeah, he's not even being called up anymore. And my man Wayne Hennessy between the posts. Yes. Hey, bro, people troll him all the time. I'm with it. And then as far as Poland goes,
that's
Leva's up top. Let's be real, of course. And then Szczesny is starting. So as much as he's not starting for Juve,
wait. This is kind of
starting for Poland.
This is very sus right now.
Yeah,
he's not ready yet.
He said he's not ready, but I don't know. They really don't have a better option though. I think so. Like, Szczesny's starting, but like their keeper.
Whatever. I like Perry anyway. I like.
You know what's crazy? As the Juve guys that play on Poland, Szczesny's is starting, but Milik is not.
Rough.
That's good. Szczesny can get injured. I don't care about him. Milik.
Come on, bro.
I don't care.
Imagine.
I don't care about Szczesny. He's not. There's been talks about like not renewing him for next season, so I'm fine.
Okay, so can we get a score prediction on this one? Wales-Poland's tough to predict.
That is.
I'm gonna say one. No, Leva's involved, bro. Leva's starting.
Where's the game at? Who's listed first?
Wales.
It's in Wales.
Where do they do home matches at?
Cardiff City.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Wales 2-1. I'm gonna go Wales 2-1.
I'm gonna say Poland 2-1.
Ooh, like that, Alina.
I was gonna say like a Lewandowski hat trick, but like Lewandowski doesn't have the service at Poland really necessarily.
By the way, I don't think we did predictions for Netherlands Belgium. I'm gonna say Belgium 3-1. Bro, no Depay, no Frankie de Jong. Just throwing that out there.
I say 1-1. I'd say 1-1 for both games actually. Poland, Wales, and the other one too.
I'm gonna go Holland 2-1.
Okay.
The Netherlands.
Last game tomorrow. All right. Hungary, Italy for top of the group. All right. Maybe that's some bragging rights. Maybe it's not, depending on who you ask.
I think Italy win.
What'd you say?
Italy win tomorrow.
Italy win?
Yep.
Outright? Just
1-0. 1-0.
What are the proposed lineups, bro?
I don't know.
The Italy.
Okay, can we say that Immobile was actually ready to play tomorrow, and then the Lazio president said no, which terrible. But yeah, just get out.
Give him like a half. He doesn't have to play the full 90.
I'm good. I don't want to see Immobile in a blue jersey ever again.
Here's some crazy stats for you guys. Total goals in the UEFA Nations League: Hungary has 8, Italy has 6.
Yep.
Goals against: Hungary has 3, Italy has 7.
That's the 6 from Germany, by the way. No, 5. Excuse me, 5 goals Italy conceded against Germany,
and Hungary will be home. So, do we have a prediction here?
I still go Italy 1-0.
Still Italy 1-0. All right, bro. Yeah. I still think Italy gets goals.
Alina said Italy too.
Italy 1-0. I think Scamacca is gonna get a goal.
I think so too. I was gonna say.
Dude. Can we talk about how great Scamacca looked with Raspadori? Like, I'm so excited for them. I wish they went to the same team, by the way. Because they played with Sassuolo together. They're gonna now, carry the national team for the next 10 years together.
Now they're split.
Yeah, now they're split.
At club level,
they did it really well. They did it really well together. But
Joey, what's your prediction?
2-1 Hungary. I think they're home. I think the fact that they've only been scored on 3 times, something to say about their rock solid defense. And at the end of the day, like, one of those goals may be a set piece, one may be a PK. I don't really care how it happens. I just think that they have the ability to shut teams out and make it a scrappy win. So, and they're home. I just think that Hungary's team because they're not going to a World Cup, Hungary's fans will find a way to show up in a really big way. And I think when push comes to shove, I don't know. It's easy to talk about Italy in a good light whenever times are good and they're winning or they have a lead to hold on to. When they don't, though, and they have to come back and get a W, or Georgina has to take a penalty kick.
Yeah.
I think it's anybody's guess, bro. We'll see.
Good point.
Yeah, but look, guys, that's it. That's everything for us. Great episode today. I think all in all, we had a little bit of everything, a little bit of Nations League, a little bit of international results, some drama, some feel-good stories. And I think we're going to see a ton more on all of those fronts between now and the end of the season. So right now, it's just countdown from here to the World Cup. I believe we are 57, either 56 or 57 days away. It can't get here fast enough. And I think, in all honesty, I will feel a little bit like Andre in the sense that I'll be able to travel a little bit, probably for the World Cup. I'm going to try and get to New York.
Are you watching any games?
I will not go. Obviously, not going to Qatar, but I want to go to a few big cities here in the States and watch some games at like some really just popping spots.
I should do that.
I really want to
do that too. Oh, that'd be awesome.
So maybe we should try to plan something. I don't know. I want to have just a show in a different location and just, I don't know, be consumed by the fans as part of it. So whether it's Chicago, New York, something along those lines, we'll see. But guys, great show. Thank you both, Andre, Alina, so much. And guys, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. Let us know what you thought, whether you had something to offer on the Witch Doctor front with POGBA story or any of the amazing World Cup kits that we're seeing with these international break matches. We're here for it. We're going to keep talking about all this stuff week in and week out. Little teaser for next week. We will have a guest on the show, big boy Maxwell Clark, otherwise known as Max Gaming. He will be on the show. We're going to talk FIFA 23, the release of it, everything that Alina and Max are excited about on that front. And then, of course, just me and Andre chiming on the casual front. It's going to be a good time. All right, guys. Thank you all for the time today and excited for the next one. See ya.